Hello, welcome to this presentation. We're going to talk about supporting independence in toileting with children and young people with additional needs. My name is Mariana. I'm a SEN occupational therapist for the Bi-Borough service. And I have with me Shauna, who is also a SEN occupational therapist, and she will be sharing this presentation with me. So the main topics we're going to talk about today are we're going to talk about the common difficulties that children with additional needs have in using the toilet, strategies for those difficulties, so strategies for those common difficulties, but also for other specific issues that we are going to focus on. And we're also going to share with you resources and activities that may help children to use the toilet more independently. So what are the main challenges for children with additional needs when using the toilet? Oh. So they might show some rigidity and ritualized behaviors. So they might want to stick with the same routine that they always have done, and they might struggle to move from toileting in the nappy to using the toilet. Might also have some sensory processing difficulties, usually related to smell, sound, and touch. Sometimes happens as well that they don't have enough sensation awareness of their nappy being soiled or wet, and this might affect their ability to recognize when they need to use the toilet or when they have toileted. Medical issues such constipation, diet as well, if they're not having enough fluid intake or enough fiber in their diet. Anxiety as well, usually related with fear of using the toilet, bad experiences in the past related with using the toilet, or can also be related with their sensory processing difficulties, and they might be resisting using that environment. Communication difficulties, if they struggle to communicate their need to use the toilet, they might struggle to be able to ask to use the toilet, or when they have wet or soiled, and they might not also understand what they are asked to do. Motor skills and coordination and balance difficulties. This might also impact their ability to sit straight in the toilet, and their ability to dress and undress as well, wash their hands. And also difficulties to transfer skills. So for example, they might be becoming more independent in using the toilet at home, but they're struggling to transfer those skills to other spaces as well, such as toilet at school or public toilets. So especially children with autism, there might be some difficulties with social motivation to use the toilet, to follow social rules. They might be less motivated to please or to be the same as others by using the toilet appropriately, wearing pants, and they might also not mind if if they're soiled or wet. So I'd like to talk a little bit about interoception, because this is a important aspect of toileting skills, developing toileting skills. And interoception is one of our 8 senses. So it's one of the less known ones, less talked about. And interoception is our ability to perceive and understand our internal body sensations and feelings. So such as like feeling hungry, thirsty, the need to use the toilet, feeling hot or cold, fatigued. And interoception is important because if you understand what you're feeling, you can then act to meet that need effectively. So, for example, we have learned that a certain feeling inside our body means that we need to pee. And that feeling is what is our motivation to get ourselves to the toilet on time. And if we're talking about poo, then we developed a awareness, internal awareness, a feeling inside our body. And over time, we learned that this feeling means that we need to poo. And this feeling is our motivation, is our cue to take action to meet our needs, to meet our physiological needs, like the feeling of feeling thirsty and then going get a glass of water. And these feelings come from our organs, such as our bladder and our stomach. And so it's common for people with autism and developmental delays to have a impaired interoception system. And many of the strategies we're going to talk about in this training, such as using a consistent routine and consistent language to help children to understand what's happening with their bodies, can help develop their interoceptive awareness. So when working towards independent toileting, these are the skills that the child needs to develop. So recognize the needs to go to the toilet, ask to go to the toilet or go independently, wee in the toilet with accurate aim, poo in the toilet, clean themselves, wipe themselves properly after using the toilet, dress, doing fastenings and pull clothes up and down, wash their hands, and using the toilet across different settings, for example, at home, at school, in the community. You might notice during the toileting training process that the child will master different parts of this list, these areas, which is normal. So it's a common question when to start toilet training. And these are the signs that indicate that a child is ready to start preparation for toileting training. So before they use toilets, they might show these signs. So staying dry for up to 1.5 hours, being able to sit and hold themselves upright for 5 minutes, and the child shows signs that they are weeing or pooing, like they're doing facial expressions. They might, sometimes you see the child starts to tap their stomach. They start to become bothered by having a soiled or wet nappy, and they will cooperate with undressing related to toilet. So for the preparation stage, it's important at this stage to start using consistent language for wee and poo and toilet. You can help the child to build a interoceptive awareness by helping them to distinguish the difference between wet and dry, dirty and clean, and help them to understand what's happening inside their bodies as well when they have toileted or after they toileted. You can start changing the nappy in the toilet cubicle to help them to get used to that environment. Practicing sitting in the toilet if they can tolerate. You can watch fun videos, songs, you can sing songs and read books specifically about using the toilet. Can introduce the toilet aspects of toileting in role play, like with the Tiny Tears doll. Can start practicing pulling trousers up and down. And it's important for the child to drink regularly, and have a healthy diet. So now for the getting started stage, when the child is already using the toilet for wee and poo, it can be really helpful to keep a record of when a child has soiled and wet their nappy, to establish when toilet time should be, and to help find the patterns of when the child has usually urinates or do a poo. You can use a non-absorbent liner or underwear in the nappy to raise the child's awareness. You can try to remove the nappy for a short time at first, just 1 hour, and then build that up. Give a drink 20 or 30 minutes before toilet time. Take the child to a toilet regularly, beginning, take her or him at set times. And if the child has an accident, it might be a good idea to leave them a few minutes before changing, if possible, to help develop awareness of the sensation of being wet. And it's important to agree approaches and strategies with school and parents to ensure that there is consistency. So whatever is working well at home, to pass that on to school and vice versa. This is an example of a intake-output chart from Eric. Eric is a children's bowel and bladder service, and their website has lots of downloadable resources related with toilet training. And this forum helps you to record how much your child is drinking throughout the day, when they have wet or have passed stools, and can be really helpful to record their toileting habits and get a bigger, clearer picture of their toileting routine. So this is just an example, but there are other templates online, can do a simpler one. And before we move on to talk about more specific issues of toilets training, we would like to highlight these very important general strategies that can make a difference. So again, use clear, consistent, and specific language, simple language, and it can be really important to use visual supports as well. Use of motivators and rewards, especially rewards that are related with the child's interests. This can help them increase their motivation and interest for toileting. So using their favorite toys during toilet time, or if they like books with pictures, using a book as well. Use of music or toileting songs, especially if they like music, and that's something that helps them to engage in the activity. It's normal to accidents to happen, especially in the beginning. Just make sure you have spare clothes available. And it's important to make the environment, toileting time, as positive and fun as you can, and not induce stress. So these are some examples of rewards charts. These we found on Twinkle, but on Eric websites as well, you have other examples. And these reward charts, they include other dressing as well, and washing hands. And lots of people use stickers, colorful stickers. Can be quite motivating and help increase the child's confidence. No, so now I want to show you some video examples of some toileting videos for children. And so this one is a cartoon video that shows a young boy, Pete, and learning the steps for the toileting routine, and can be really helpful because it shows lots of visuals that can help support understanding of what the children need to do when they use the toilet. And so I can't show it now, but it's on YouTube, and there are also lots of other different versions. And there's also a girl version named Princess Polly available, and there are Peppa Pig videos as well, Baby Shark for the younger ones. This one it's quite funny one. It shows how the bladder works, and for the children that are more interested on science or biology, perhaps can be a good one as well. Now we're going to talk about specific issues that can happen when we're doing toilet training. So the first one is fear of using the toilet, which is quite common one. And the reasons can be medical, so presence of constipation, painful bowel movement, causing fear of using the toilet because it's a painful experience, and anxiety as well. If they had a bad experience or memory in the past related with using the toilets, that can lead to some fear as well, some resistance, rigidity, difficulties to change the routine, to move from toileting the nappy to using the toilet, change of activity, and sensory difficulties as well related to smells, noises, and touch can induce some anxiety and fear of using the toilet. Now, what strategies you can use to help overcome this difficulty? So please rule out medical problems first. So seek out advice from the GP, the nurse, or other relevant professionals if you suspect that there are medical problems such as constipation. And maintain consistency as much as possible because this helps reduce anxiety and will help the child prepare them for what is going to happen next. So you can support this with using visuals or like a toileting schedule. Start small, and as the child builds confidence, you can then increase the challenge and increase the time they spend on the toilet. And if there is lots of stress, try some relaxation activities before or during toilet time. So for example, singing a song, a calming song, doing a massage before, or blowing bubbles, because blowing bubbles can also help to relax the muscles for weeing and or pooing. If the child has a good level of understanding, can help them to understand and learn about how the body works. And visual support such as a first then, and now and next, social story as well can be quite helpful. There are lots of social stories online as well that you can use. And just a few more. Yeah, use the child's interests to help reduce his stress and fear. Using the toilet, can use favorite toys and books, and address the sensory issues. So here you have to be a bit of a detective to investigate and understand what is the reason for their sensory responses. So if they struggle with loud sounds, like you can give them ear defenders for when they use the toilet. If they have problems with the sound of the water flushing, the flush, you can flush after they already have are from a certain distance from the toilet. If they're sensitive to strong smells, you can open the window before they use the toilet. You can also use, those scented sprays, or if you're going to a public toilet, they can take a cloth or a handkerchief sprayed with their favorite perfume or a essential oil as well. And for touch sensitivity, wet wipes can cause less sensitivity than toilet paper. Using and also the water splashing when they flush can put some toilet paper on the toilet before flushing, because that will avoid the splashing. Using a padded seat as well. And also consider what equipment needs the child has. So they might need to use a step to help them to keep their balance, or rails as well, or more supportive seating like this one here, with rails and more supportive back support as well can be better. All right, so now I'm going to hand over to Shauna, who will talk about constipation, and she will finish the presentation.
Thanks, Mariana. Okay, so yeah, the next focus is on constipation. So some of the signs and symptoms to look out for are pain when passing stool and straining, wind, avoidance of the toilet, stronger smelling poo, daytime wetting, lack of appetite, irritable behaviors, UTIs, and bloating of the stomach. So yeah, just be mindful that smearing can be a sign of constipation. So, you know, the longer the poo is in the rectum, the drier and harder it becomes. So the child, you know, might actually be smearing because, you know, they're trying to pull it out due to that uncomfortable feeling. There's a video here which is really good. It's kind of very useful and educative for parents and other professionals to watch, just to understand the science behind constipation and the effects of ongoing constipation on the body. But you won't watch it now, but the link is here if you do want to watch that. Okay, so now for some constipation strategies. So firstly, try to encourage your child to sit on the toilet after eating to set a regular toileting routine. So we usually say about 20 minutes after breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Yeah, you really want to try and get a regular toileting routine established. Trying to use a squatty potty or a toilet squatting stool or step to ensure good posture for passing stools. So yeah, you want to make sure that both feet are flat on the ground, as this obviously provides more support and allows the child to relax. Help the child to sit with their legs slightly open. This relaxes the spinature, which is the muscle that allows poo to pass with more ease. So yeah, the position is quite important as well. Help the child to relax using distraction techniques. So, you know, things like bubbles, which Mariana mentioned, books, any kind of special interest that the child has. Yeah, can be good sometimes to keep like a little box in the toilet, or just have a little box of, you know, things that the child's going, you know, that they're going to be interested in, and just keep them for the toilet. Maintain or keep a poo diary charting the stool, its type and consistency. So, you know, what type is the poo? What is the size of the poo? This is going to help give you a better insight into your child's pooing habits. And it will also help, you know, if you do visit the GP, because the constipation is persisting. So this will help them figure out kind of, you know, what's going on. And obviously visit the GP if the constipation persists. Just to say also that the Bristol stool chart, which is over here, so the ideal stool is generally type 3 or type 4. That stool is going to be quite easy to pass without being too watery. If you notice that your child has type 1 or type 2, then they're probably constipated. Okay, so the next focus area is talking about when children won't sit to poo. So we tend to find that many children master weeing in the toilet, but they continue to poo in the nappy and in the bath or any kind of inappropriate places. So the first step is to establish why. So it might be a combination of things or just one thing. So, have they learned to poo standing up or squatting on the floor as they were using the nappy? Thinking about their understanding. So they might not know that the poo goes in the toilet. So try to develop their understanding of pooing in the toilet using things like books, YouTube videos, visual aids, social stories, and role modeling to provide them with schedules with clear pictures of poo, going into the toilet. And you can also get them to help put the poo in the toilet following an accident in the nappy, if that's appropriate. There's also, it might be because of sensory issues affecting them, such as, the smell of the poo, that they don't like that, they want to avoid that, or the feel of the nappy on their bottom, which can actually be quite comforting to them. So they might actually like, having the nappy on them and pooing in that. It might be because, they have a fear or anxiety of sitting on the toilet, as discussed earlier in the presentation, or they might be constipated or in pain. Or they might have developed a strong association with doing a poo in the first place, where they first started doing toilet training, so in the bedroom. So they want to continue doing that. Okay, so now we're going to think about like a step-by-step approach to supporting your child to poo in the toilet. So the first step is to aim to gradually bring your child closer to the toilet for the poo. So gradually move the boundary nearer to the bathroom or toilet. So have the child help with clearing up the poo. So put the poo from the nappy in the toilet if possible, flush the toilet and wash their hands. And don't make changing nappy time fun. So limit any kind of, talking, and encourage the child to stand when changing the nappy. Okay, then you're going to your aim is to try and remove the nappy. So gradually loosen the nappy, or you can actually cut a hole in the nappy and then gradually make this bigger, so that the poop falls into the toilet. The nappy may be placed over the toilet seat and the child can sit on it. And the nappy is then placed under the toilet seat and then gradually lowered. You can also try using nappies that are smaller, and you can tell the child, there's no longer any nappies that fit because you're now a big boy or girl. So you can keep kind of making them smaller and smaller until they don't actually fit the child. So now we're going to focus a little bit on smearing. So the reasons why a child might be smearing can include the child feeling unwell or they're in pain, and tactile sensitivity. So the sensation of stools against the skin can cause discomfort, and there might be a bit of a reluctance to wipe using toilet paper. Sensory seeking, so they might actually just like the texture or the smell of it. Or they might be doing it for, they're seeking a bit of attention, so they might want a bit of a reaction. Communication, so they're might be feeling a little bit anxious, they're trying to tell you this, or they're just having a bit of a protest. Or they're understanding, they might actually not know where the poo needs to go. Or fear or anxiety, so they're avoiding using the toilet. Or they may be smearing because they actually, want to spend time in the bathroom because they know that if they smear, they'll get to, be around the water, or they get in the shower. And some children actually really like that kind of that aspect of the water. Okay, thinking about strategies that we can do to help children who are smearing. So try to incorporate alternative sensory activities into the schedule. So we want to think about activities that are going to kind of provide a similar sensory input to poo. So looking for something with the same texture. So things like, paper mache, gloop, which is corn flour and water, and finger painting, Play-Doh. You can also use strong smelling Play-Doh, like aroma dough, citrus scented items, just to try and keep their hands busy. And make sure that you have like a day of a structured timetable showing the child when they can engage in these kind of sensory messy play activities, so they know that they're going to get to do this at some point in the day. And GP check, obviously, just to make sure that they're not unwell or they're not in pain. So avoid giving or give minimal attention to the smearing. So yeah, you don't want to show too much attention to that, or give too much of a reaction. I'd say also don't tell them off, as this can be seen as a bit of a reinforcement of the behavior. Encourage praise and reward using the toilet appropriately. And we want to also teach them wiping. If they're unable to wipe themselves, we want to teach them that skill, which we'll talk about in the next slide. And trial alternatives to toilet paper if they're withdrawing from bottom wiping. So maybe trying wet wipes and things like that. You can use social stories or video or visual to show, what is the most appropriate toileting routine. And also, if the child is smearing, quite a lot in the day, it's affecting their engagement or participation in school or at home, you might want to try alternative clothing to restrict their access. So things like, unitards, onesies or dungarees. But obviously that's going to limit their independence and things like that. So we wouldn't, it wouldn't be a first go-to, but it is something that you could consider. Okay, thinking about bottom wiping and how we can support children with this. So bottom wiping can be a difficult skill to master, as it requires, lots of skills. So to be able to wipe our bottom, we need several skills. So things like we need really good balance. We need the ability to reach backwards without being able to see. So a good level of kind of body awareness. We also need to have the ability to pull the toilet roll from the dispenser. So thinking about their fine motor skills. Use the correct amount of force when wiping. Thinking about, do they have the understanding that wiping should be repeated until the bottom is clean? So yeah, we see a lot of children who might just wipe once and then they think that they're clean. They don't realize that they're still dirty. So sometimes giving them, a set number of wipes can help. 5 wipes, or wipe and then check, wipe and then check. Maybe you can do this 5 times, so they keep at it until they're fully clean. So bottom wiping can obviously therefore take, lots of practice for a child to achieve, and try to be patient with this, and encourage them to participate as much as possible. And yeah, it's going to take time. It's a skill. It's not something that's kind of developed over a few days. Okay, so thinking about strategies that we can do to help with bottom wiping. So that includes, making sure that both feet are placed firmly on the floor, and that's obviously going to help with their balance and their stability. You might want to consider maybe a handrail to hold on to, or even a step if the child's not going to stand up. Make sure that you have a step that can help them. You can use wet wipes or toilet wipes so that the child's able to clean themselves a bit better. Making sure that the tissue or wipes are near to the child so that they can reach them while they're sitting on the toilet. And you can also, we recommend them obviously avoiding tight trousers. This can be difficult for them to fasten and unfasten and things like that. They can use a mirror. You can place a mirror in the bathroom so they can actually see what they're doing. And we also recommend using a visual schedule to help with sequencing for bottom wiping. So telling them the exact steps that they need to follow. Okay, so sorry, my computer is just frozen. Just give me 1 second. Sure if it's fixed, but I'll just continue. Hopefully it will work. Thinking about activities to develop their wiping skills. So we can do things like pass a balloon or a ball around the body, passing it from one hand to the other. That can really help develop their body awareness and their their gross motor skills, so they understand where they need to wipe and things like that. The sticker game, you can place some stickers maybe on their bottom and ask them to reach and pick these. Placing shaving cream on the child's bottom during bath time and have them wipe off with a flannel. You can do that, or you can even use like if they like role play, you can use like a dolly and things like that. Yeah. You can also spread chocolate spread on a tangerine or orange and demonstrate the wiping action, so they can understand that process and see how that's completed. And you can laminate a card with the target on it, which is this one here in the. Sorry, my mouse is still frozen, so I'm not sure if it's working. But yeah, the target there in the bottom left-hand screen. So you can ask them. You can put a bit of like chocolate spread or something in it, and you can ask them to wipe it clean. Okay, so next we're going to focus on when a child is not requesting to use the toilet, and this could be for a number of reasons. So things like communication difficulties, they're having trouble initiating that, reduced interoceptive awareness, so they're not actually receiving those body signals, which is telling them that they need to use the toilet. So again, they're not going to initiate that. Because maybe it's part of their routine. So, you know, they're so used to having someone tell them when they need to go, or it's, you know, scheduled into their daily timetable that they're not thinking of initiating it themselves. Maybe due to a lack of motivation, or because they have a reluctance to leave an activity. They might be engaging in a really fun, playful activity, and yeah, they're not thinking about going to the toilet, or they don't understand that they need to request. Okay, so thinking about some strategies to support children to request the toilet. So what can we do? So monitor and be aware of any visible signs that the child may need to use the toilet. So things like, you know, pacing, fidgeting, you know, they crossing their legs, and trying then to prompt them about what that they need the toilet. Model requesting and reward other students or staff for doing this. So yeah, bit of role play can help as well. Use educational videos and books. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, I finished that last slide. Okay, so now thinking about some kind of projects and some kind of toileting resources that sometimes we might recommend. So the Happy Pee is a portable children's urinal, and that folds down for easy storage in bags and things like that. So it's quite ideal for, like, you know, long journeys in the car, or if you're out about in the community and you don't have a toilet, this is quite a good one. The wee target, which is in the middle there at the top, so you know, obviously that provides a bit of a target for the child, and it encourages them to face forward. We've got the dry like me pads as well, which basically is placed on before you put the nappy on, which kind of increases the wet sensation. It helps the child to feel that they're wet. Therefore, the child's more likely to kind of, you know, initiate changing and things like that. You can just use you can just place on like underwear, like you know, knickers or briefs on before you put the nappy on. So yeah, that's just another alternative, and that's also going to help the child feel that wet sensation. You've got a vibrating watch or a toileting reminder, so, you know, setting specific times that it will vibrate, so the child knows that they need to go to the toilet then. And you've got like bedwetting alarms as well, which kind of wakes the child up when they start going to the toilet, so that they can hopefully stop and then finish in the toilet. Okay, so you've got other kind of little resources and things here. So things like the tinkle tunes, that's a musical sensor, which is placed on the child's underwear. So the music lets the adult know right away that the child has gone, so that they're able to teach the association of being wet and the need to go to the toilet. A family toilet seat, so that's like a 2-in-1 seat. So obviously you just lift it up when you need to use the toilet, and then you can pull it down when the child needs to use the toilet. It's just an alternative for the toilet inserts. The Tiny Tears doll as well. I think this dolly cries and things like that when she goes to the toilet, or she poos and pees and things like that. So yeah, a bit of role play for the children who are interested in that. And bedwetting pad, it has wings. Obviously, you can just change that then once the child has gone toilet. And then you've got the squatty potty as well, which is like a little portable toilet or loo. So these are just some product suppliers that sometimes we recommend or we go to. So Eric, they have a range of continence products, even swimwear things, swimwear costumes for boys and girls, reusable nappies and things like that. And we've got some, there's like the musical sensor for the underwear, and there's a link there for the dry like me pads as well. Just to say also that the just weight card, which is the last point there, that states that the card holder has a medical condition which requires the urgent need of a toilet, so may help, if you're in the community or things like that, or you're out and about, just to help to people to understand. So that's something that you can apply for, I believe. Here's some useful books and things that we recommend for yourself, which can help provide useful strategies. So obviously, different books use different language, so try to be consistent in your own language. And we've also got some children's books here as well, which yeah, we found that some children are quite interested in it and they're very helpful. And then there's just some useful websites which we tend to go to and use and resort and recommend parents use quite a lot. And Eric is probably the most popular one. They've got lots of different like toileting charts and products, resource and leaflets, the Continence Foundation, and then the NAS toilet training information on the autism.org UK website is quite good as well. So yeah, that's the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for attending. I really hope you found it useful and you can take away some strategies from today and try to implement them at school or at home with your child. Obviously, this is the recorded presentation, so you don't obviously have the opportunity to ask any questions. But if you do have any further questions, please contact the allocated SEN OT for your school. You can contact them via the SENCO. If you've got any other kind of general OT queries, you can also contact our OT lead, Ellie Lawley. And if you would have any kind of queries about incontinence products, I believe some children are also entitled to, free nappies and things like that and pads. You can contact the Children's Continence Service and their email is on the slide there. So yeah, thank you for attending today and I hope you found it useful.